and you guys can see it and then forget it was there. So we'll go straight from maybe a newspaper at dinner, nice, and that can be Mary's key to enter. No worries.
Nice to see you make the effort. Nice. Oh, she just walked in the door. Over here, Mary.
Hi. Oh, I'm sorry. You know, Alex just would not stop talking on the phone because he's going to some basketball game and, I don't know, the babysitter didn't show up or something like that. I'm starting to think that actually Lauren is a lot more intelligent than all of those teenagers that I had to shed out money for.
Sure.
Anyway, how are you both? Good? Oh, and also, thank you so much for getting my food here already. I'm really hungry.
We're all good.
Well, so, how's the new job? I want to hear everything.
It's a lovely change, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I forgot how much I actually enjoy working, and I mean, Alex has been so supportive.
Oh.
But look, seem to be boring you to death, Dad. Seem to be boring you to death. I seem to be boring you to death, Dad. So, why don't you just tell me what you've been up to?
I'm sure he's not bored. Why don't we have a toast? You know, I'm just so impressed that you can do this whilst having a family. Here's to our Mary.
Look, I'm not bored. Yeah, well done. Well done.
Do all those things you've always wanted to do.
Yep, here we go.
I am just going to ignore you. But you know, Mary, it's like what I was saying to you before. You can explain to women today how you can get everything that you want, you know, and have it all, like I always wanted to do.
That's a really great idea, Mum. Better see whether I can actually do it myself before I try and advise others on how to do it.
Look, I think I'm gonna go home. It's been a long day.
It's only 9 o'clock. Don't you want to see your daughter?
No, it's okay, Mum. You can stay, and I'll drop you off on my way to the hotel.
We're having lunch tomorrow anyway, so I'll talk to her then.
Exactly.
Okay.
No.
Well, looks like things haven't changed in the last 6 months.
I'm starting to forget when things were different.
Cool. Let's just pause there. Thank you. I know that was a bit of a mind.
I know what you mean. Now though, having done it,
Yeah.
makes sense.
Do you know what I mean? Let's have one more crack at exactly the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this time, now that you're familiar with what we're doing, if this is okay with Caroline, now we want to focus on, you need to tell them what you need to tell them in terms of what is there is on the page, okay? So it's a conversation about Mary apologising for why she was late and Todd and Alice trying to emphasise that they want to see her, but Todd doesn't really want to have this conversation with his wife. He'd rather enjoy time with his daughter tomorrow alone.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're driving to over this bit of text. And as each line comes through, give yourself, it doesn't matter if it takes more time, it really doesn't need to read one after the other after the other. Let yourself be even more flexible with it than you just were. So get a sense of what is happening factually in the scene, but allow yourself to maybe stray more away from the text than you just have, to improvise the dialogue a little bit between you on the way. Yeah? Is that making sense?
So do you want us to like leave the text, or do you want us to do you want us to have like an eye on the text, or are we
an eye on it? Yeah, this is quite a difficult task because what I'm not necessarily wanting you to do is just improvise the scene as per, because in terms of the orders the characters speak and what information they need to tell the other person broadly should be kept intact, but the dialogue is up for grabs in terms of how you actually deliver it. Is that making sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's just keep the recording going, and we'll just go from the same place. Actually, we'll start from your line when you're already in Mary. Anyway, how are you guys? So the end of her speech, then her getting round to seeing how they are after making the excuse for being late.
Anyway, how are you? Oh, and thank you so much for getting my food here. I'm really hungry.
Yeah, but nothing to report.
Actually, I wouldn't say that. Can we start again?
That's cool. Let's start again. What was lovely, I know.
I'm really hungry. No, I mean sometimes, but like.
Yeah.
I mean, is that what you mean?
Yeah, just think if my parents had ordered food for me before I got into the restaurant, because I texted my mum and said what she wanted, and I was like rushing. I've only just sat down. I'm really looking forward to lunch. And great, she got my text message, and I'm really relieved.
Great. Anyway, how are you? Thank you so much for this. This is amazing.
Yeah, nothing to report.
So, how are you? Tell us all about this new job.
Yeah, it's a great job. It is. And yeah, I don't know. Alex has been really great about it, and obviously it's quite stressful with everything else, but I think it's the right thing. I think it's the right decision.
Good.
Dad's falling asleep. Anyway, so how are you guys?
Well, I'm sure he's not falling asleep. You're not bored, are you? Well, look, why don't we have a toast? Let's have a toast to our daughter for a new job. It's very impressive.
I'm not falling asleep, Mary. Well done. Really well done.
Now, you seem to be doing all the things that I always wanted to do. It's brilliant.
Here we go.
Oh, do you have to put your 2 pennyworth in? But I've told you that I always fancied writing a book about how you could have a career and a family, and you just seem to be doing it now. It's just brilliant.
Oh, Mum, that's really sweet. I mean, I don't know if I'm actually, we'll have to see how it goes. I haven't written it yet.
Okay, I've got to admit, I am quite tired. I'm not going to be much fun. I think I should. I think it's better for all of us if I head back.
It's okay. You can go, and Mum can stay. I'll just see you tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm seeing Mary for lunch tomorrow, so I'll speak to her then.
Suit yourself.
Okay. 9.
Well, some things never change.
I guess you're right.
Nice, thank you. We'll just keep that going on the recording, can I? That was nice, yeah. Did you guys feel more comfortable with that exercise
In a way.
that time?
A slight suggestion, if that's allowed. When you say, "Oh, Dad's beginning to fall asleep," or "Dad's bored to death," or and then Mary says another line. So, what have you two been up to? She moves on from it, and then I answer that that line about I'm sure he's not bored, and then I say something else and move it on, and then he goes back to it and says, "Oh, I'm not bored" as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And it felt like maybe we should deal with that and then move on to the other.
Yeah.
But maybe it is really naturalistic. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, thank you for offering that. That's really useful. I'd say, thanks, Kathy. I think that something really useful to bear in mind is if the natural extent of something has run its course, so if you can only talk about someone looking like they're bored for a certain number of lines, if it kind of runs over that, it moves from being dialogue into conversation. So the conversation is then, you know, we've kind of gone on and on and on about the same thing. Maybe they can say what they're talking about, him being bored, in many fewer lines. Because when they keep trying to talk about it, that's when it becomes a little bit harder, because the actors can't. They're not anymore trying to actually do anything to the other person. It's just that they're talking about this bored thing. So maybe we can just make that moment happen.
And actually, yeah, I didn't want to say it, but I also knew that it was like a thriller thing. Maybe it was just that version of it.
Yeah.
But my instinct was to not say it. But I knew that it came up so many times for so many people's like lines that it would have cut like.
Yeah, the whole thing could happen silently. For instance, Mary can look at her father, who looks like he's about to nod off. Alice gives him a dig in the ribs.
Exactly.
That generates a conversation about, oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to excuse myself. Yeah. Cool. So.
Can I clarify? When Alice says, "Now you can write that book," I always wanted to. Is it that Alice wanted to write this book when she was younger, but never got around to it?
Yeah.
So it's not. I always wanted you to write that book.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
yeah,
Alice
yeah. I
wanted.
was a little. Yeah.
Alice wanted to write, but
Yeah.
she's projecting
Yeah.
what that desire to Mary. Okay.
I feel like Mary is too young.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, does it not feel like that? Because it feels like I'm playing her more like 30 rather than 40. She's got a kid. Like, but she's not a young mum. I don't get that vibe.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then maybe I'm being unfair about 40-year-olds. Like, I don't know. I know some and I don't get.
That's something to bear in mind.
I don't
What do you think?
I don't think it's that different.
It's not young. You
Not-
don't think I'm playing her young?
Not really.
No.
Because I think
Yeah. I'd say
you're breezing in.
something that
and,
might.
I mean, I believed you basically.
As a 40-year-old?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
oh,
so
great.
42 or something.
Fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
Rather than,
Okay,
I don't know if
but-
we have time to run it again with that in mind, but thank you for bringing that, Rosie. I think something that will help that is finding specific voices for the characters. So if what's their kind of outlook on life, and what do they really care about? What's their kind of like value system underlining something? And how do those people react to certain things or certain questions people pose? And so if her values, beliefs, her life experiences are different to her parents, how does that inform the way that she talks when she's with them, or who she is as a person? I think it's just about differentiating them as characters, and perhaps the way into it through the age wasn't that useful.
No, it was useful. I think the time before, the one we just did, I felt like I went young again, like slightly younger again, but the time before,
Yeah.
when I was thinking
Trying to
more
think.
actively about that felt like 40. And then I think when I was kind of trying to like cut out
Yeah.
info, I was like, you know.
Yeah. And we improvise as our own age quite often, don't we?
Exactly that, yeah.
Yeah.
I was.
I sort of had occasional sort of like flavours, sniffed at little flavours of Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf or something like that. I sort of wanted them to be more vicious with
To
each other,
yeah.
but sort of maybe hiding it. I mean, like maybe the thing that I said about the board thing, and then I mean, if there was a viciousnness to it, it might be really funny, you know, to keep sort of heading back to a thing that you thought had been finished, you know. But I wasn't quite sure if they were that vicious with each other, if it was that nasty, you know, and I sort of like, the comedian in me wanted it to be more so, you know, but
Perhaps looking
that's,
at like,
that's maybe not the play. And
if this is the version where they say everything, what's the version where they say nothing? Yeah. And we can really just, they can be as spiteful and specific as possible. They don't necessarily all have to be spiteful, but I think cutting out how much subtext is in the line really helps with things like spite or aggression, or the differentiation between that and just being sort of like a nice conversation that they're having. Does that make sense? Yeah. We're going to move on because we haven't necessarily got more time to explore those points. But thank you guys for bringing that up. I think that's a very useful way to start on the script. So, Charlie and Rosie, do you mind letting me sign it for me, or indeed here in the audience? Let's just going to put you off the phone there, Caroline. So feel free, we're going to look at the first monologue. You don't have to stay locked.